Anybody? You. Ooh, okay, so Chopper, we had the luxury, so normally whenever we do auditions, we don't get to hear what the character sounded like in Japanese unless we look it up on our own outside of the audition. And so that was one of the few times, because we had so many rounds of that audition. Okay, so normally whenever you audition one time, and then you might have one callback, and then that's it. But for Chopper and for all the characters in One Piece, they were really, really picky about how they wanted to do that particular dub. And so we had, I want to say it was like 4 or 5 rounds of auditions, and they wanted to be as close to the Japanese as possible. So what informed my voice for Chopper was definitely what I thought the Japanese voice actors would sound like speaking English. And then one of my favorite lines is Chopper. I love it whenever Chopper gets a compliment. And he's just like, "That's not gonna work on me, stupid. I don't know why you say stupid stuff like that." Like, I love it when he's just like, "Shut up. That's not what you're talking about." That's my favorite. Yes? My favorite character to voice. I have a lot of favorites. Chopper is definitely one of my favorites. I have favorites for different reasons. Chopper is one of my favorites because he's like the cutest voice that cutest character I've ever gotten to voice. And the most sentimental character to me is Natsuki in Summer Wars, because how many of you guys have seen Summer Wars? If you haven't, you should totally see it. That's a lot of you. It's so good. And for those of you who don't know, it's like a really strong relationship between her and her grandmother. And I was raised by my mom and my grandmother, and my grandmother had passed away a few years before that, and so I dedicated my performance to her. I also love Maho and Beck because she was one of the first leads that I ever got, and getting to sing as well was awesome. But I think and Hollow in Spice and Wolf is also one of my favorites. But I'd have to say the one that's my favorite just because, like, this character has put me through the ringer as far as acting chops, and I feel like I've learned a lot through doing this character, is Ciel Phantom Hive in Black Butler. The amount of stuff that he has to go through is so intense, and I've just never had the luxury of getting to play a character so layered. I also love Yuno in Future Diary because of that as well. I've been really lucky. I've gotten to play a lot of really freaking awesome characters. Other questions? You.
Okay. Is there any character that you wish you could go back and voice now that you've improved and like mastered your art over the years?
Say that again.
Is there any character you wish that you could go back and like try and voice them again now that you've improved over the years?
Is there any character I'd want to go back and voice again now that I'm more experienced, essentially? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, when you're an actor, and especially with my philosophy of acting is that I'm always learning and I'm always trying to get better. I'm always trying to level up. So I'm always looking back at performances and thinking of ways that I could have done them better. But I think that's a good thing, to be able to go back and be like, oh, I could have done this and this and this and this better, because that means that I'm growing. So I don't know that I want to go back and redo them, because, you know, that's just kind of, that's who they exist, that's who they are, that's how they exist in that time, that's who I was at that time. So for me, it's like sort of markers reminding me of how far I've come. So, yeah.